Well, hey, YouTube, it's Petey Two Finger, and today's a good day for me because I built this amp today and I finished. Before 10 p.m., I was done. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit more. Yesterday, I went garbage picking to the industrial park by where I live, and I picked up this scrap wood. It was an old desk, and it had a nice finish to it, and it was older wood. It wasn't press board, so I removed everything that I could from it without getting crazy. I actually came home and returned with a Phillips screwdriver and a 18-volt cordless drill and stripped everything I could off of it. And yesterday, I got the idea to build this thing, so I went and rounded up the parts before I went to bed. Really irritated my wife because I'm in the middle of I've got two amp projects floating. One of them I'm going to be doing very soon, and that's why I went to the park. It's a cash box. This other amp that I haven't really started working on is a cash box. And the idea was to grab some plywood and then cut that to fit in the base of this cash box and screw that down. So I would basically cut this thing just about perfect, maybe leave about an inch gap in the front, and then flip it over and drill four mounting holes on the bottom, through the bottom of the cash box, and then run four short diameter, like quarter-inch, little short stubby wood screws to fasten this board down. And then that way I can run little screws into it. I can fasten all the battery packs and not worry about conductivity. And it gives it a little bit of weight, too, having that board in there. So I went over there and I found this desk, and it had a nice finish on it. It looked like nice wood. I cut all that up last night, or actually I measured it last night, and then today I went out on the patio. It was kind of late, and I didn't want to be ripping skill saw after 10 p.m. So today at about 4:30, I went and ripped this wood. I started working on this amp. I was finished by 10 p.m., and you're looking at the back there. I did not install a DC input. Here's the side. You can see I used some black poster paint. Where I cut the wood, it was unfinished, so it was like white looking. So I went ahead and just painted that black. Now, on the front, the important stuff is there. The bottom is glued together, and there's four screws that are countersunk using shafts cut with the Forstner bit, just like you see on the top. Only I didn't paint those black on the bottom. But I used some Elmer's glue on the bottom. The top I didn't because we were going to remove the top to get in and access the circuit. Now on the back, there's the input jack. That really needed to be moved over to the right a centimeter. My bad. And then those, what do you call those? Mini banana plugs for the speaker out. I've got some spring terminals coming, and I can replace that, and I probably will. Just didn't have those spring terminals today. And there is no DC port. If I want to run this off of a power supply, I can't. So when that day comes, I will grab my power screwdriver and preheat my soldering iron, rip a 5.5 centimeter hole in the back of it, and install a DC 2.1 inner diameter power port, and Bob's your uncle. Now that Polk audio speaker has a tweeter. This amp, the thing I'm going to be using it for is playing my new multi-effector, which is a Nux MG30, which is a modeling amp in cab sim. And those devices are looking for a full range speaker or something with a tweeter. And this Polk audio is a small. I paid $299 for that speaker. There was only one of them. I'm looking for a mate. But for now, I can play some guitar through it using this mini amp, which is a test amp, which I can always add a different amplifier board. I can put whatever in there. And I have a 30-watt board I could put in there if I want. I also have a 5-watt coming. That's the board that's in it is rated at 14 watts, but it's only running off of 8 volts. It really should be running off of 12. And I didn't have a triple battery holder in stock. I had a double. So when that battery holder comes in, I can upgrade it. I can also put a bigger amp, which really isn't the point. This is a micro amp. It's not supposed to be real loud, but I like the way it looks, and I'm proud of myself for finishing it in one day. So that's the skinny on the micro amp. I have another similar box that's chrome. And yesterday I ordered a 5-watt Class D. It's a tiny amp board. And I plan on making the same thing into that chrome box. The chrome box is going to serve as a place for me to mount the volume pot, mount the switch and the LED. And I have that one is going to run off a single 18650, which I bought a really nice single holder, which is probably going to go on the back lip, external. So it's going to be bolted down to the board, but it's going to be in the back rather than inside the chassis like on this one. So there you go. That was the micro amp. It was a fun project. It's finished. I have yet to really test it out. I tested it with the beep beep test oscillator, which is kind of quiet. That's set up to be at about the same volume as a passive a humbucker being struck. So you could only imagine how much louder that's going to be when I run a multi-effector through it. All right, you guys, thanks for joining me, and I will see you soon. Peace.